Well, I think we're on good footing. We're about to find out how people responded to the course.
Yeah.
What was most exciting for them? What did they enjoy doing the most? Did we provide enough historical background, or is it too much? And likewise, were the activities possible? Were they able to do the activities, or was it just too difficult for
Too
them?
overwhelming. Yeah, I'm quite confident that now will be more compliant, because she has been so supportive during this whole process. So that we are already in the end of our MOOC, and we have asked our students about how they did feel during the MOOC, how the activities went, if they were too overwhelming or too little. Of course, that was the first iteration, and they have a lot to say about that. But, I think it went quite well, actually. And I'm already, with Roger, thinking of new projects.
New projects? Wow, you guys have a lot of stamina.
Gluttons for punishment. We're excited about the work we're able to do. We're hopefully that the students will receive it as well as we hope they will. But we do have some new ideas. So, Anna, what were some of the ones you thought would be really neat for us to do next time?
Are you pitching new ideas to me? I just want to get that straight, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to put on a different hat here as you know, as I try to work with you. I'm gonna have to be real tough on this. Just hang on just one second, please.
What is this all about, Roger?
I don't know. You know, these administrative types, they have a PhD and they're really, she's definitely... Yeah. She's definitely still a faculty member, no doubt in my mind.
I am now the shark. You are in the shark tank. Let's hear what your ideas are.
Okay, well, of course, our students will give us their suggestions too, but I have some of my own. First would be paleography and calligraphy. So it would be more or less the same orientation, this MOOC. Paleography is the history of writing. So how letters evolve and so. But I like to teach it together with calligraphy so that the students can write themselves, imitating the medieval and Renaissance scripts. I think a lot of people like calligraphy and would have a public.
The other piece too of calligraphy too is that often we don't think about this, but a lot of modern design and graphic design is inspired from previous kind of forms of art. So in this way, calligraphy with all of its kind of stylistics really presents an opportunity also to kind of encourage artistic movements inside of like technical fields. So we can appreciate, really incredible graphic arts that appear maybe in advertisements or things like that. But if we can inject the medieval world back into it, and especially these script styles, it could be kind of a renaissance of sorts of art and architecture inside of language, inside of art, of writing here.
And let's and I do like that idea. And so let's talk about cross-promoting this, because we do have at least one design class at CU, one design MOOC, and there are lots around there, and it is really graphic design that we're seeing out in the MOOC world. But I think you're right that this is a foundational layer that could really inform people's artistic and design work even now. So let's see what we can do about making those connections.
Mm-hmm. Well, the second idea is historical book bindings. I see a lot of interest in the internet about historical book bindings. Everything is very loose, so we could put a lot together and again teach our students to do some book binding themselves, sewing and attaching the boards and so. And of course, the materials used in medieval book bindings are again very expensive, but we can sort of mock them with new materials and totally inexpensive.
And this one, and I believe you with the interest. This one is I don't see the audience as much because I know they're fulfilling to each of you, but I want to make sure that you can justify all the heart and soul that you put into it. And if you can do that with a small audience, I think that's okay. But I want to take care of you guys, and I don't want you to. I want your efforts to have the audience that you deserve. But tell me about another idea.
Yeah, the third idea is iconography. There we would go again into the world of medieval manuscripts, the manuscript illuminations, but we would also go in the direction of musea. Mm-hmm. So, because art, of course, is art, and the stories represented in medieval manuscripts are more or less the same, are represented in frescoes or on canvas. So, and maybe
so they're kind of their own art form unto themselves in that way, and yes, they like you're saying.
Yeah. So how to identify the themes in mostly medieval painting, but in this case, I think we could go up to the 17th century because that is the golden age of iconography.
And this one. So again, my job is to get you as broad an audience as possible because I think you're wonderful and doing great work and great teaching at scale. And this is another one where I think that if you work on your descriptions and the descriptions of your learners, you could reach a whole new audience that's never been exposed to this. So I think what I'd encourage you to do with all of these ideas is to think, how can you get outside the expected audience? And so the expected audience really are librarians, people who are already invested in medieval history and books, or even all the way up to the 17th century and turkey legs. But I'd encourage you to think more broadly about that. And Roger started that by saying, okay, so the calligraphy and the paleography really speaks to people who are in the design world today and practicing in the design world today. They may be practicing with technical tools instead of traditional tools, but they're still practicing the same thing. And I would argue that the same thing is happening with iconography, that you could help really deepen the vocabulary of designers all around the world by exposing them to things that are probably implicit in some of their design education, but you could make them explicit and also then link them more deeply in time and across space to their predecessors in the design world. So that's what I encourage you to do with these, is to be really crystal clear about how you're going to reach the world, not just your world, but the whole world.
And I think based off that kind of that recommendation too, I think what we should be doing is asking our students, right? The students that are participating in our courses to see, what's most interesting to you? Is it the pigments that are on paper? Is it the icons that are there? Is it who's using these documents during that time period? Is it because it's about social status? I'm not sure, but that's what we should do. I think is maybe even go back out to our audience and ask them, what do you think?
The best way to have a good idea is to have a lot of ideas. So, and I really can't think I can't come to any more ideas. So, but our students certainly will.
And their friends. And even let's talk about hooking you guys up with some graphic designers. Because that, when you talk about lots of ideas, it kind of comes at it sideways, and that would be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, we will certainly.